It's been almost a year since Hurricane Maria slammed the Caribbean islands. For a university located on the island of Dominica, the storm meant relocating to Knoxville. Reporter Grant Robinson spoke with a student at Ross University who is still living with the effects of that storm. Grant?
Beth, Brandon, Micah Rineker moved from Alaska to study medicine in the Caribbean until Hurricane Maria brought him to Knoxville. After last year's experience, he's paying a lot more attention to these hurricane forecasts.
There's no way to describe, really, to put into words a Category 5 hurricane. If you've been through one or experienced one, it will profoundly impact your life.
For Micah Rineker, it wasn't just the experience of Hurricane Maria that impacted his life. For starters, the 175-mile-an-hour winds destroyed his school on the island of Dominica. Then Ross University chose to hold classes 2,000 miles away in Knoxville while the island rebuilt.
I think it's been a year of adaptation.
Now, as Hurricane Florence swirls towards shore, his memories of outlasting the storm are resurfacing.
I have friends in med school on the East Coast there, North Carolina area, who have contacted us looking for places to stay, asking for recommendations in this area as they run from the hurricane. But that of course brings back a flood of memories of our own experiences.
The effect the storm had on his life was so great, he ended up putting his experiences into a book. And since he's fully aware of the destruction these storms can bring, he hopes Hurricane Florence spares people on the East Coast.
As we look at these approaching, the people are in our thoughts and prayers, and we recognize the impact that it can have on their life.
Ross University has told students that they plan to move back to the Caribbean in January of next year, but they won't be returning to Dominica. Instead, they'll have a campus in Barbados. Beth?
All right, Grant, thank you.